ये मेरा नाम का स्पेलिंग गलत है, कैन वी करेक्ट इट? ब्रॉडकास्ट चालू हो गया क्या?
हाँ सर, चालू हो गया।
अच्छा ठीक है।
बात सुनिए सर, आपको वहाँ पे अटेंडी है ना, अटेंडी का ऑप्शन आ रहा है, वहाँ पे आपका नाम आएगा, तो आप क्लिक करके आप अपना नाम सही कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा एक सेकेंड।
अटेंडी का ऑप्शन में देखिए आपका नाम जहाँ पे, वहाँ पे एक क्लिक करिए तो बाहर आएगा आपका नाम, वहाँ पे सही कर सकते हैं।
हाँ ठीक है, should we start?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, start.
Friends, are we all ready to start? Let me pull up the windows. I welcome all of you once again for this training program. This is a second day of our training program, and since uh, yeah, so what I'm going to do now, friends, let me open the files that I have, and I'll also share the screen. Okay, I think my screen is already being shared. And let's do a quick revision of whatever we did yesterday so that we can get started with today's session. And I believe there would be certain questions, so let me just keep the questions on. Okay. Sanket, I think yesterday I have given the links. I think you are asking for the link once again. Let me pull up the link and give it to you. Just give me a moment. Okay, can I? Yeah, I got it. So I am sending this link to all of you. You guys can check the link and download the files yesterday. Okay, so what we'll do right now is we will go ahead and do a quick revision of whatever we did yesterday, and we'll get started with today's session. Okay, and I see there are a few questions popping up. I will go ahead and respond to those questions as well. So first of all, friends, if you take a look at my screen, okay, that's a different screen. Let me close that and come back to Power BI. Okay, so what are we going to do here in Power BI session? What are we going to do is we are going to be doing the quick revision of whatever we did yesterday. So yesterday we started with what is Power BI and what is the importance of the first screen. I would not be repeating those things again. I will simply go ahead and talk about what are we going to, I mean, from the practical aspect of whatever we have done. So yesterday we learned about Power BI and how do we import the data. We also saw the importance of all these connectors. Now, these connectors are nothing but direct connectors to grab the data from these portals or these tools or these softwares. Okay, so here we have got some common and frequently used list. And then if you click on more, you get to see the categorized view of all the list. So here is we have file, here is database, Power Platform, and every other stuff. Okay, so you can actually go ahead and connect to all these data sources and grab the data as long as you have the account with them. All right. Now, then the next thing that we did was importing the data from an Excel file. So we actually imported the data from a normal employee data, which is a normal Excel sheet, right? For that, okay, sorry, I think my screen is frozen. Let me Can you all see the screen? Okay, thank you. Sorry, actually, I had paused the screen for a while and then I forgot to unpause it. No problem. Let's go ahead and get started with today's session once again. So here, if you take a look at uh, the data, here we have multiple connectors. So I was talking about different connectors that we have. Now, when we talk about these connectors, these are ready to grab the data from those respective portals. If you click on more here, it opens a window where you have different categories of connectors and you can then select the required option. Just give me a moment, friends. Just a moment. Okay, friends, I'm back. So what are we going to do now is I was talking about these connectors and the data to grab connectors to grab the data from the respective portals. Okay. Now here, if you see, these are the individual connectors and you can grab the data. So yesterday what we did was we actually had the Excel file. If you remember, I was asking you to open the file, which is Excel training file. So we imported the data onto Power BI using Excel as a connector. So let's see what do we have in Power Query. So yesterday I gave the demonstration of what is Power Query and why is it so important. So yeah, Power Query Editor is the tool which will automate most of your processes. Okay, yeah. So Power Query is a tool which will automate most of your processes. Now here, when we talk about the automation in Power Query, how do we go to Power Query automation? Here, you need to go to home and you can click on transform tab. So if you click on transform tab, here you will see Power Query editor. So this is nothing but Power Query editor. In Power Query editor, we saw that the data is presented in this format and you can grab it. We also saw the importance of applied steps. Okay. Now, what exactly happens? How do we come to the screen? We select the connector, which is Excel, which will ask us which file to open. And that will ultimately bring us to this particular screen. When we come to the screen over here, on this specific screen here, this is the source. Now these applied steps are not nothing but the recordings of the steps that we have done on that data. Okay, so whatever number of steps that you have done, Power Query has made a note of that, so that next time when you come back again, it will remember the steps. So if you remember, this is the data where this is the screen. One screen is going to come up. This is the screen where we entered the path of the file, and it is going to work as an Excel file. And we clicked OK. What happened? This data came to us. Here we have got multiple rows and multiple columns. Now what we did after that, we removed all the blank rows. After that, what I did was we removed two rows. Okay, why did we remove two rows? That is because these are the two blank rows that we want to remove. And where did we remove it from? We went to home tab and click on remove rows and clicked on remove top rows. Okay, that was the option. Now when we click on top rows, it asks us, let's say I insert, it asks us how many rows are to be removed, and here you can write 2. Now, yesterday I told you I'll come back to it, but I think somehow I missed it. Yeah, I said you are freezing how many rows are to be removed. Now here you are hard coding that information that only 2 rows. Now imagine that you have a file which does not have top 2 rows empty, which starts with the third row. So in that file also, it is blindly going to remove the first 2 rows. Okay, it is blindly going to remove the first 2 rows. So what we need to do here is we will have to ensure that we actually take care of the number of rows which are blank, only those rows to be removed. So we are going to see that example later session. I mean, we may or may not see that. Let me tell you, if because we have a shorter duration course, we may or may not be able to go to that level. I'll see. If we don't cover that part today, that means that part will not be covered. So I'll see if this can be covered. Now, coming back to, you have to be very careful when you hard code the information, because that is how it is going to treat the next file. Okay, but here let's talk about, after blank rows we removed 2 rows, then we promoted this row as a header. So if you look at this header row, we clicked on promote headers, and then we clicked on removed rows. Okay, with this what we did was we have created our database. So if you look at this, we have our database created, and then what did we do? We clicked on close and apply. That brought us to this particular screen. If you remember, let me click on close and apply. We came to the screen, and then we went to report section. And in report section, if you remember, we grabbed the data from department, and we grabbed the data from um, uh, salary, and we created this table. And same table, we got it converted into a chart. How did we do that? Let me delete this chart and let me recreate it once again. So what did we do for this? We just grabbed the data, department, and salary, and like pivot table report, it automatically got arranged. So now how do we convert this into chart? I copy and paste the same report, Control C, Control V, and after we have done that, after we do that, what do we do now? This is the report. I simply click on the clustered column chart, and see the column chart has got created. Very simple and easy to use. Yeah. So this is the table, and this is the chart that we have, and this is how we go ahead and create the report. Okay. Now, after we have done this, next thing that we learned was importing the data as a table. Before table, we learned about this import unpivot data. Now, this unpivot data is extremely useful and critical. So let's say I click on transform data. So when I click on transform data, here we have unpivot data. What do we do here? Here we imported the data like this from an Excel file. All right. We learned yesterday the format of good data and bad data, how the data is supposed to be, so that you can easily grab the data in Power BI and start reporting. Okay. So for that, if you remember, this is a horizontal data. We'd like to convert this horizontal data. That means a part of it, this is a vertical data. EXP code and EXP type is a vertical data. And from Jan to December is a horizontal data. So generally it is called as crosstab data, where you have the heading on the left side as well as at the top row. Now what I want to do is, I would simply like to transpose this from Jan to December vertically. So how do I convert that data into vertical format? We come to this unpivot column. So what do we do here? When we talk about unpivot column, we select January to December. We do right click, and here we have the option unpivot columns. The moment I click on unpivot columns, we get this data. Okay. So now you can use this data to create pivot table report. All right. Now, let me also tell you one more thing which I didn't explain yesterday. I said I'll come back to it, but I couldn't come back to it. Let me tell you. See, now in order to unpivot, we did from January to December, and we did right click unpivot columns. Now, January to December there are multiple columns, right? So the number of columns that represent every month in a year are more than these two columns, which is exp code and exp type. So what do? I click on exp code, I click on exp type, right? Now I click both these columns, and now what I'm going to do, I do right click. When I do right click here, I see the options unpivot column. Now, when I do unpivot columns, these two columns are going to get unpivoted. I don't want to do these columns unpivot. I would like to do the rest of the columns unpivot. So how do I do it? I'll select these two columns and select the option unpivot other columns. Very easy. I click on unpivot other columns. Now, when I do unpivot other columns, we'll automatically see that this is the data where we have attribute and value. So I'll change it to months. And I'll select this as data. Yeah. So I've selected this as month and this as data. Now this is my unpivot data in Power BI. Then the third thing that then the next thing that we saw is how do I do VLOOKUP, right? So when I do VLOOKUP, in order to do VLOOKUP, I have to have two data. So if you remember this tab data that we actually imported, this is the data that we imported from an Excel file. And yesterday I told you all to watch the video on table to understand more on table, what exactly is table in Excel and how to use it in Power BI, how to use Excel tables in Power BI. I told you to watch that video, and it's a wonderful learning to get introduced to a new feature. This table does not only work with Power BI, with Excel, but it also gives you a great deal of flexibility within Excel itself. Okay, so imagine if you are not using Power BI, still table is extremely useful, and every Excel user must know that feature. If you don't know, you're definitely missing something, which is definitely going to reduce a lot of your work. Okay, so do watch the video that I sent the link yesterday. If you want, towards the end I'll reshare the link again. Now if you take a look at this table, this is the table that I've imported from Excel. Okay, now in this table I would like to get the first name, last name, department, region, branch, hire date, salary. I'd like to get all of them in the respective columns. So what do we do now? How do we import the data? In order to import the data, what I'll do, I'll simply go to Home tab. And if you remember, we learned about merge queries. Okay, when we talk about merge queries, this is the column that we got. Okay, so friends, one more thing, these star marks that you have here, these are the extension of those steps. So if you want to modify this particular step, if you want to go back and modify, you can simply click on the star and you can simply modify the steps that you have in there. Okay, so here I've got this table. Here I just need to click on employee ID and employee code. Once I select both, now sorry, first I'll have this table, I'll have to select another table where I have to pick up the data from. And once that is done, identify the common column. Like we do in VLOOKUP, we identify the common columns. Now once we identify the common columns, now here by default we have join kind. We are going to see this in a moment. Now I also explained what is fuzzy lookup. Fuzzy lookup is something where let's say you do not have proper spellings and there are percentage of spelling errors. You can use this similarity threshold. The moment you check it, you can write, let's say you want 80% similarity, so you write 0.8, and that will actually compare the spellings, and if the match is over and above 80%, it will show it as true match. We also learned about the transformation table, which is an intermediate table which is used to go ahead and match the columns. Okay, now so I'm not discussing this in detail, as I mentioned yesterday as well. Now what I'm going to do is here this join kind, I'm going to explain it in detail. So as of now, what happened here, after selecting this or after identifying what are the common columns, we click OK, and after that, sorry, I clicked on OK, which is already here. Okay, so after doing that, we click OK, and this is the data where this is what we get. After this step, what are we supposed to do? We click on expand. After I click on expand, I click on original column name as prefix, and I'll select and click OK. So these columns will get expanded and your view will be like this. So this is how we did VLOOKUP over here. Okay. Now this was one of the last example. Now after this, I'm going to be talking about what are the different join tabs. But before that, let me take a look at all the questions that I have received since beginning, and I'll answer those questions. Okay. All right. Okay. So here I see you yesterday you were mentioning about limitation of 100,000 records while exporting the data Power BI to Excel. Can you please elaborate how this is possible when we work with the data having 1 lakh per month record? Okay, so I'll answer this question from Sheshu Kumar. But before that, if you remember, yesterday I was actually about to show you importing huge data in Power BI. So how do we import huge data in Power BI? Let me show that to you all first. Okay, now that is going to be of very good interest to you all, which will actually tell you what is the capacity and the competency of Power BI and how can it help you to manage huge data. All right. So what I'm going to do now here, if you take a look at my screen, I have here, okay. So this is the data which was to get downloaded, and the size of this data is 770 MB. Yeah. So the size of this file is 770 MB. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this file into Power BI. So I click on Get Data, and when I click on Get Data, here the database is Access. So I click on Access and I click on Connect. When I click on Connect, it is now allowing me to import the data. I just gave the path of the file, and take a look at the size of the file. It's still 770 MB, and I'm selecting the same file and clicking on Open. Now you will see how much or how many records can be accommodated in Excel. And let me tell you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This doesn't mean that a Power BI can hold only this much of data. It can actually hold data larger than this. Okay. So I'm going to click on load. Let's see what happens now. So take a look at the screen and you will actually get to see how much data is getting imported. Okay. So it's actually setting up the connection. Okay, so here you can see how much data is being imported. So sales fact has got more than 10 lakh records have been imported, and the count is still going on. You can see how much data is being um, imported into Power BI. Until the time it imports, let the counter be completed. Let me actually show you where can you find these features. So whatever features that I'm discussing right now, all those features can be uh, used in Excel also. Now your Excel must be Microsoft 365 Excel. So see, let me show you what you can do. See, first of all, you need to be sure of the version. If your version doesn't match, then this feature will not be there. So you need to go to File. So if you see File at the top, File, then you need to go to Accounts here. On the right hand side here, it is the email address or the account information. My subscription product is Microsoft 365. As long as it is Microsoft 365, it will have all the features of Excel. Now, just in case if it says 2013 or 2016, then you need to look at the second information, whether that particular version is a standard version or the professional version, because this feature of importing huge data into Excel is only available in professional version in 2013 and 16. If it is Microsoft 365, don't worry about the version. Yeah, as long as Microsoft 365, it will have all the features. But if it is 2013 and 16, it's got to be to a professional version only. If it is standard, these features will not be there. Okay, so here I have standard, Microsoft 365, which has all the features. So where can I find the Power Query here? So when I go to new, see this get data is nothing but the same kind of connectors that we saw in Power BI. Similar connectors are available here. Okay, do you see here? Okay, so these are the connectors. So this particular window is nothing but Power Query window. So yesterday what we saw, Power Query is available in Excel. Similarly, do you see this option called as data model, which is Power Pivot? Look at the screen, this green mark. If your Excel is Microsoft 365 2013-16 professional version, when you go to data, here you will get to see the option go to Power Pivot window. Now this is nothing but your Power Pivot, and you can use the same sort of data as you can see in Power BI. Okay, so our data import is complete. Let's see how much data has been imported, how many rows have been imported. So I click on BI sales fact. Now here, take a look at the screen. It's 1 crore 4,39,386, or it's 10 million records. Okay, it's 10 million records of data have been imported in Power BI. Okay, so 1 crore record. And let me tell you, this is not the limit. I have actually worked with 7 crore records in Excel in Power Pivot. So of course, it's Power BI. It can even handle more. Okay, so 7 crore records that I have worked with in Excel was working perfectly fine. Now, let me also show you one more thing. See, the size of this file and access was 770 MB. Let me ask you all to just guess what could be the file size here. Just take a guess. Yeah. So 770 MB was the actual size. Let me see. Somebody says, Pratik says 100 MB, and Roshan Nadkarni and Naishat Thakkar. Okay. Uh, let me show you the size of this file. Okay. This is the file, and okay, huge data, right? Let me show you. I actually forgot where did I save it. I think I saved it on the desktop. Take a look at the screen. The size is 25 MB. So 770 MB of data got reduced to 25 MB. So Pratik, Dhut, sorry, not Pratik. Pratik, it's here Roshan Nadkarni and Naishad Thakkar. Both of you have given closest answer. And Sheshu Kumar, you have given 2 GB as well as 70 KB. Which one should I consider? Both are extreme answers. Okay. Anyway, so whatever the answers that you have given, the 770 MB of data which was an access got reduced to just 25 MB. Remember, Power BI compresses the data. Okay, compresses the data. All right. So that's how. So let me answer a few questions that people. One person has said, "How is the speed of the download?" So speed of the data depends on the amount of data. So here, if you talk about 7 crore records, it will take some time because Power BI does two things simultaneously. One, it downloads the data from the source. Second, it compresses the data. As you can see, 770 MB got compressed into just 25 MB. Okay, so just 25 MB. So you can see how much compression is happening in Power BI. So larger the data, slower the speed. Or you can say speed is constant, but the amount of time that it is going to take could be more or less depending on the number of data that you have. Okay, so such a huge data can also be imported in Power BI. Now, let me quickly move on to the next question. So, yesterday I was talking about the 1,000 records. The 1,000 records is only to export the data. Somebody asked me a question whether can the data from Access, so sorry, Power BI be exported into uh, Excel. For that, it was 1,000 records, and I gave you a couple of examples of exporting. It'll be difficult for me to go through all those once again, but I'll just quickly tell you. So what you can do is you can just copy the entire column data and paste it somewhere. So this column data can be copied. One particular column data can be copied and pasted in Excel. Or what you can do is you can even go to visualization and export the data this way. Click on these three dots and click on export data, and here you get the option data.csv. You can rename it to anything and the data gets exported into CSV format. Second thing that we spoke about was about exporting the data. I told you go to transform tab, and I clicked on, yeah. So what you can do is you can go to transform data. You can go to transform data. You can control A, control C. But all these techniques or tactics can only copy the first 1,000 rows of data, not more than that. So that was the answer to your question. Okay. So how is this possible when we work with the data having 1 lakh per records? So like I said, exporting to Excel is limited to 1,000 record. But if you're working on Excel, you cannot export more than 1,000 records. But if you're working in Power BI, you can go as many as 10 crore records. It doesn't freeze. It doesn't create problem. Okay, so Bhairavi, you cannot use Power BI on your iPad or your iPhone because those are the different application. You got to have either Mac laptop or Windows laptop to be able to practice all these things that I'm discussing. Okay. Then we have how to VLOOKUP in duplicate records. So I'm going to come to that, Sunil Kumar. This will be tremendous whilst getting MIS done from my team and before sending MD and then to a group of management. Bhairavi, I didn't understand your question. This will be of tremendous whilst getting MIS done. What is tremendous? I mean, it's. Let me know. Please rephrase your question. Okay, Bhairavi, I will post my YouTube channel link towards the end. But if you want to look at it right now, you can just Google Pradip Pardesi as my name is visible. And the first link you get is my YouTube channel. Okay, Deepak Chopra, I'm going to start fresh with fresh data so that you can carry on with, I mean, you can follow along. Can you explain how you expanded in the table in the tab? Rohan Nadkarni, can you rephrase your question? Okay, Bhairavi, I am not using PPT, so I will not be sharing any PPT session, but you will get the recording. You just need to get in touch with the coordinators of this session organizer, and they'll be able to give you. So we'll go ahead. Okay, Abhay, that data need not be required for practice. That data need not be required for practice. It's a huge data of 770 MB. So I won't be able to send you that data. But any data that you have which is huge, you can just import it in Power BI and practice it. Yeah. So it will take enough time for me to upload and for you to download. So please pardon me for that. Okay. So let's get started with our exercise. But before that, like I said, today I'm going to be starting with the types of join. So yesterday, let me do one exercise with all of you. And what I'm going to do, friends, I'm going to close this file and start from a fresh file. So just in case if someone has not attended yesterday's training program, they can start with us today. Okay. Uh, okay. So we make weekly, monthly information to management. So this will help tremendously. Yeah, certainly, Bhairavi. So we still have two more sessions to go. So tomorrow's session is going to actually tell you what are the extreme possibilities that we can do with this session. Just give me a moment. Okay. All right. So let me get started with today's session. And okay. So I'll start with a new Power BI desktop software. So I'm opening this. Okay, I'm assuming everyone has downloaded the data. And Deepak Chopra, you wanted me to repeat. So from here, you can follow along. All right. So here I go ahead and click on get the data. So here I would like to get two data sets. I click on Excel. So what did I do? I'm sorry, I went a little fast, but let me tell you. Here, you need to click on Excel. And when you click on Excel, this one, when you open Power BI, you need to click on Excel. And when you click on Excel, it will open a window. You just have to go to the folder where you have stored all the files. You need to go to Power Query. And here, I will I'm asking you to select this file, which is Excel training file. Click on that Excel training file and click on Open. When you click on Open, it is going to show you the list of all the sheets that it has. Okay. Now here, if yesterday, if any one of you is was following me, you must have created this tab. If you have, just check this box. If you have not, no problem. We'll do some extra practice today. So I'll check this conditional formatting sheet, and I will select this tab sheet, this tab array sheet. So I'll check conditional formatting sheet and tab array sheet. So these are the two sheets that I've checked, and I'll straight away go to edit. Either you may have edit button or transform data. If you see edit, your Power BI is not updated, get it updated. I click on transform data, and after I click on transform data or edit, I get to see a Power Query window. So let's get step by step. All right. I'm going little fast today. Just in case if you are not able to cope up with my speed, let me know. I'll repeat it again. So first, I have the conditional formatting sheet, right? I go to conditional formatting sheet, right? I see that there are plenty of records and I would like to remove all the blank records. So what I'll do, I'm in conditional formatting. I go to remove rows in the home tab. I go to remove rows, remove blank rows. Okay. I go to remove rows and I click on remove blank rows. Okay. Now after I go to blank rows, you will see all the rows have been removed. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I was going fast. Please tell me if you have reached the screen and then I'll move on. I'll just wait for 10 to 15 more seconds and then we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going ahead. All right. So what we need to do is all we did was after coming to the screen, I clicked on remove rows and selected remove blank rows, and that removes all the blank rows. And then I saw that there are some blank columns here which are null. So now if I say that this is the column, now yesterday I told you that if you go ahead and click on top row, that means you're hard coding the top rows. What if your data starts from the first column, I mean from employee code itself? It still go ahead and it'll remove the first two rows. So what you need to do here is you need to find out some alternate method. So I know that every row must have an employee code and there cannot be a blank row. So for that, I smartly uncheck this option that says null. When I remove null, what will happen? There won't be any blank row in this entire column. So this time I am not choosing remove top rows and selecting two rows, but all I did was I selected this filter and unchecked the null. When I did that, what happened? It automatically removed the blank rows. Okay. So now when it got removed all the blank rows, what exactly happens now? I see that some columns are unnecessary columns. So I clicked on column number 1, then I go to column number return to index sheet. Sorry, I click column number 1. I click on column number 1, then I go to column number 8, which is return to index sheet, and I hold shift key. I'm holding shift key and I'm selecting all the columns here, and I do right click, remove other columns. I do right click, remove other columns. I did all those things. And now what do? I select the option that says use first row as header. When I do use first row as header, what happened? All the rows have been removed. Okay, so all the rows have been removed. So after having done all these things, okay, so what did I do? I clicked from column number employee code to salary. I am holding shift key. I clicked here, I'm holding shift key and I click on salary, right click, remove other columns, right? That removed all the columns, and then I clicked on this option that says use first row as header. Okay, right? See, there are a few people who are asking me. I'll go a little fast, friends, because if I get stuck with this, I'll be repeating yesterday's session. So I'm going to repeat it last time. I'm sorry, please pardon me for that. But I did not want to keep doing this exercise as we did it yesterday. So what I did was I unchecked null here, and I click OK. Now what I need to do, let me do one step before. This row, I want it to be a header row. Okay, I'm just repeating. Okay, so those who have done this need not do this again. So I'm doing use first row as header row. So when I click on use first row as header row, this becomes the header row. So now from employee code, I click on employee code, I hold the shift key, I then click on I hold shift key and click on salary. So from employee code to salary, I've selected all the columns, and now I do right click, remove other columns. So all the columns have been removed now. Okay, all the extra columns have been removed, all the extra rows have been removed, and this data looks perfect for me right now. Now Yesterday, I did not explain one important part, which is the data type. I said I'll come back to that, but because of time, I couldn't come back to that. So when we see data type here at the top left corner, do you see this 1, 2, 3 next to employee code? Do you see this ABC? Yeah. So here, this ABC 1, 2, 3, these are nothing but data type. Now, if you do not see next to employee code this 1, 2, 3, again, that is possible only and only if your Power BI is not updated. If it is not latest, then it is likely that you do not see this 1, 2, 3 or ABC. Okay, that means it's very old, almost a 1 to 2 years old software that you're using, and it's now time to get it updated. Okay, so now what you need to do here, once you select this 1, 2, 3, these are the data types. That means here, if you select decimal, it will always have the decimal number like 100.2 or 99.99. So that decimal will be there. There is fixed this decimal. So only up to 2 decimal values, whole number, percentage. So you got to select the data type properly, and you need to ensure that that kind of data is entered in that column. The thing is not same in Excel file. In Excel file, what happens is, even if you write salary, in that column you can write your name. It's okay. But here, if you just declare the column as salary, and salary is a numerical column, you cannot write a text here. If you write text, Power BI will give you an error and will remove that entire row. Remember, it will remove the entire row. Yeah, but it will give you the error that so and so data has been removed. So many number of errors are there, and those rows have been removed. It will give you that kind of error. You need to rectify. Okay, I'm not getting into that right now. I'm just moving ahead. So this data type is extremely important here. Now, for the people, those who are using pretty old version of Power BI who do not have this 1, 2, 3, what you can do is you can simply click on that column, and in the home tab here you have data type whole number. You can choose it from here also. Either you can choose it from here, or if you have this number, you can choose it over here itself. So this is nothing but data type, right? Now, uh, somebody asked me, where did I find the option use first row as header? Here is the option in the home tab, use first row as header. Okay, now let's go to tab array. Okay, tab array, just to avoid confusion, this employee ID, data, and INCE. I select these three columns. I have selected these three columns, and all the other columns that we have, I am removing those columns. So after selecting these three columns, I do right click, remove other columns. Okay, remove other columns. So all the other columns have been removed. Now it's very simple activity. I'll go to remove rows and click on remove blank rows. See, remove other columns and remove other rows. All the other unnecessary data have been removed. And now I'll simply use this option, use first row as headers. I click on that. Okay, use first row as headers. So I have this data conditional formatting. I have this data tab array. All right. Okay. So if you are not able to see tab array, then here you may have conditional formatting. Right below that, you can have tab array. If you don't see tab array, you can go to new source, Excel. You can select the Excel training file like this, and there you get to see the list of all the sheets, and you can choose the tab array. Okay, that you need to do the process once again. So you need to go to new source, Excel, and repeat the process. So I hope you got the answer to your question, Anil Pant. Yeah, now I'll go ahead. So this is the data that we have, and this is the conditional formatting. And yesterday we learned about join type, which was incomplete. So let me completely talk about what are the join types. So here, what are we going to do here is, this is the table, and I would like to get the first name, last name, department, region, and all those stuff from conditional formatting sheet. So for that, I explained the option of merge queries. When we go to merge queries here, we got to select. So by the way, merge query option is available under home tab on the extreme right hand side. Merge queries is here. Just click on merge query and here you get to see one table. So you got to first select the table where you want to do the VLOOKUP, right? So the place where do you want to do the VLOOKUP, there you will select, and then it'll ask you to select another table. So click on the drop down and click on conditional formatting. So here I need the data and I need to get the data from here. Okay, so I select these two things and now I click on employee ID, employee code, I select, and now we come to this join kind. Now this is very important. So now you know how to do VLOOKUP further, but I'll take a pause here and give me some time to explain what is this join kind, because this is extremely important, right? Deepak Chopra, if you do not see merge query, check if you're in home tab. If you're not in your home tab, find. But before that, do check if you're in Power Query Editor. Here is Power Query Editor. And this merge query is available in Power Query Editor in home tab on the right hand side. Yeah, if you don't see Power Query Editor, if you don't see that, get into Power Query and make sure that you're using Power BI. Okay, now let me explain the join types first. Now that is extremely important and interesting. Okay, so here we have join types. Now as you can see, what are the different join types here? This is join kind, and here do you see left outer, right outer, full outer, inner, left anti, right anti. Okay, so let me explain here what these things are. For example, let's take an example. I'll first explain this part first. Okay, so here it says left outer join. What is left outer join? Okay, now see, generally when we talk about join type or VLOOKUP, now what are the different kinds of VLOOKUP that we have in Excel that we are going to discuss? So when we talk about VLOOKUP, we have generally two tables. Okay, we have two tables. So this is table number 1 and this is table number 2, right? And there are some matching records and some non-matching records in each table. All right. So these are the two tables. Imagine you are doing VLOOKUP. Now you are likely to get hash and error message. Now when there is a hash and error message, that means those are non-matching records from the other table. Okay. The relevant entry in the other table does not exist. That you all know, right? So it's nothing but simple case of VLOOKUP, right? So here you have matching records as well as non-matching records. Now left outer, if you use the join type left outer, your result will be like a VLOOKUP. So here you will have all the entries from the left, but only matching entries from the right. So what happens when VLOOKUP? Here you get all these values, but the values which do not match, there you get hash and a, then value, then hash and a, then value, then hash and a, right? So that is nothing but this normal VLOOKUP, right? So that is nothing but our default left outer join, which is pretty good for, or which is the similar case of VLOOKUP. But then we have right outer join. The right outer join, what will it be? As it is left outer, so data from the left was retained. In right outer, data from the right will be retained on only matching record from the left will come. Okay, so where we? That's what I'm saying. These blue and yellow entries are non-matching records. So they do not match. So all those non-matching records from the table B will be removed. That will not be considered. Only the matching records, that is the green part, will be imported. Now, if you know VLOOKUP, what happens when we do VLOOKUP? Only the matching entries come and non-matching entries we get hash and a, which is nothing, right? What do we do ultimately? We remove all the error messages and keep the value. So it's the same situation. And when we talk about right outer means all the data from the right, but only matching records from the left. So it's the reverse of this particular left outer ka reverse ho gaya right outer. That's the difference. Okay, what if the matching record in the table is not extreme left? Okay, yesterday, Harshad, I'm not sure if you were there. I told you in Excel, we need to ensure that the left column must be the matching column or lookup column. But here, there is no such case. Your column can be anywhere in the table. It need not be the left column. So don't worry about that. This is not VLOOKUP that we are doing. This is the join type. And that's the advantage of Power Query, that it does not respect the limitations of VLOOKUP in Excel. Yeah, it is much more advanced than your VLOOKUP. So you will get to see now in the next example of join type, you will understand what I'm talking about. So now when we talk about full outer, so full outer means all the data from the left and all the data from the right. So matching will be matched with the matching records, but non-matching record will also be the part of output. That's full outer. Remember, that is full outer. So all the records from the left as well as the matching records from the left and right and non-matching from the left from the right as well is the part of the output table. So nothing is removed here. It gives you the complete table. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's full outer. Then there is an inner join. So inner join means only matching records. Right. So this will give you only the matching records. It will remove all the non-matching records. Okay. All right. This is inner join. Then next thing, left anti. Now this is very interesting. Left anti means what exactly happens? Left, right, and right case. Whatever matching records are there, those records are removed, and non-matching records from the left are retained here. Remember, matching records from the left and right are removed, but non-matching from the left, not from the right. Remember, because it's left anti. So matching records from the left and not from the right are removed, and only non-matching records are retained like this. Can you give me a practical example of this particular join type? Where can you use it practically? Where will you use it? Yeah, any example where you can actually use left anti and bring up some analysis in your data? Salary sheet. Can you give an example? Salary sheet. Okay, just don't tell me the name, because bank reconciliation or salary sheet I don't understand. Can you give an elaborate example? What do you mean by this? Okay, so employees whose salary not paid. Employees whose salary not paid. Oh, okay. But let's say it's employee salary whose salary not paid. So I will have one table. I can simply put a filter to that table, isn't it, Sagar? Why would I use this? Employee master versus bank transaction file matching. Okay, that seems good. Okay, TB mapping and groupings. Okay, let me give you an example which will make sense to all of you. Please tell me if that is something that yeah, absent or ghost employees. Fantastic. The employee who was present, who was present last month, the employee who are present this month also. But I want to find out the employees who, see, this actually tells you this is the employee. This employee was present last month. This is the employee who is present this month also. But what am I interested in? I am interested in all the employees who were not present in the last month. Sorry, who are not present in this month, not last month, in this month. So what are we doing here? The employees who do not match with the next table, those needs to be removed, and the previous employees who do not match with the current table will be shown here. Okay, now let me also give you an example. I have the customer. Every month I have customers. So what I'm doing, last month I had customer, this month also I have customer. I want to find out the customer who had not purchased a single item with me. So this customer was in the last month, this customer is there in the this month also. I want to remove all the customer who have made the purchase last month as well as this month, and I want to find out who are the old customer who have not made any purchase this month, right? So this left anti can be used. Yeah, if I want to find out, the customer who had made purchase last month as well as this month, I'll use inner join. So all the customer, okay, is my voice breaking up? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So okay, I get the message. Most of the people are saying that I'm audible, so I'll continue. I think Mr. Anil, that could be a problem with your audio. I'm sorry. We'll continue. Thank you very much for the confirmation. Okay. So employees who have made the purchase last month as well as this month, that is inner join. So I hope you understood the meaning of left anti. And similarly, we have right anti. Right anti means matching records from both the tables are removed, but the records of the next table, that is right table, is retained. So I would like to find out who are the new customers this month who do not match with the previous month's record. So these are all the new customers that I have made this month. So this will be useful for getting the new customer details. This is for last customer who have discontinued our service or who have not purchased anything. Sorry, this one is the customer who have discontinued our service, who have not purchased anything. And this is how many customer who are regularly buying our services, who were last month as well as this month. Okay, so this is the case. This you can say total customer, may be it last month or this month, and of course we can identify the common customer. Okay, so that's how these are the different tables that you can use. These are the join types that can be used, and they are pretty useful feature. Okay, so see, imagine that you have to get this particular, and you have to do this particular analysis using VLOOKUP. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible, but is it simple? No, you will have to do multiple, or you have to do VLOOKUP and then you have to filter #NA, or you have to do the VLOOKUP in the other table, all those stuff. Here, just by selecting the option, you get the output. Okay, so this is the join type. I repeat once again quickly, what are the different join types that will help you? Left outer join type means it's a simple VLOOKUP. I need not explain anything further. So all the data that we have in the last month, and the matching records from this month I can get. Okay, so I have got only the matching records data. Here, the next table, all the data of the next table is retained, but matching record from the previous table is retained. Then we have full outer, all the data from the left, all the data from the right, and matching records next to each other, like this. And this one, inner join, that means only the matching record. Very useful to find out the consistent buyers of our service. Okay, then we have left anti and we have right anti. Okay, so that's the join types. All right, can we declare or establish many-to-many relationship in Power Query? Okay, Saga Parmar, that question is a little advanced. I'm not answering that right now, but your question is yes and no. You can establish many-to-many relationship, but that cannot happen in Power Query. That must be done in Power BI data model. Okay, in Power Query, you cannot make any relationships. All right. All right. So Deepak, I missed your question. I missed merge table. I have reselected merge table. Then what to do? Yeah, I'm not done yet. Okay, I just hopped into this particular part of join types. So here these are the different join types. You got to use it wisely to be able to find out which one suits your need. Okay. So as of now, I'm just going ahead with the left outer, and I've clicked on this employee ID and this employee ID, and I click OK. And now what happens is this is conditional formatting that I have, and I will click on this tag. Okay, after clicking OK, I'll click on this two-headed arrow. This is nothing but expand the data. When I click on expand the data, I click on employee code here, and I uncheck the box which says use original column name as prefix. So here I have employee code, and here I check use original column as prefix, and then I click OK. And see, when I do OK, this is the complete VLOOKUP that we have. Okay, and now we can click on close and apply. Okay, friends, which step do you want me to repeat? Seshu Kumar, which step? VLOOKUP process. Okay, VLOOKUP process. It's gonna be okay. Let me do quickly what we did here. I go to transform data. So I'll quickly talk about it. What did I do? Here we have the source, and here is the table. Okay, remove promoted header. Okay, yeah, this was the table. I click on this table array, then I go to merge query. When I go to merge query, this table pops up, and then this window pops up once again. Yeah, this window pops up. So we have to select the matching columns, and as I said, these columns need not be on the leftmost side. They can be anywhere in the table. This column also can be anywhere in the table. Okay, now after we do that, we just select left outer and click OK. When you do click OK, this kind of table comes up. Do not click on any of these tables, but just click on this two-headed arrow and uncheck this box that says use original column name as prefix. And because the employee ID is already there, I don't want a duplicate employee code, so I'll uncheck employee code. You can also uncheck the columns that you don't need in the final report. Okay, once you do that, click OK, and that gives you this particular report. That's it. That's the Power Query lookup. Now what do? I click on close and apply, and this is the data that we finally get. Okay, this is array. All right. All right. So now, what are we going to do? We will now go ahead and learn how do we merge multiple data into one. Okay. After we have done that, we are going to stop working on Power Query and we are going to go to data model. Okay. Now that is going to be completely new exercise. Sunil Kumar Jain, you wrote something gray. I did not understand. What does that mean? Can you please repeat it? I'll proceed meanwhile. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now, I'll tell you a scenario. Okay. And okay, you said not possible to click OK after clicking on merge. Okay. So Sunil Kumar, you have not selected the common column. Select EMP ID and EMP code. So you have to first click on each column, and then only that OK or submit will get highlighted. Okay. All right. Now what do we do here is let me show you a situation or scenario. See, in the Power Query, there is a folder with the name Sachin Data. Okay. Now this is an interesting exercise. I want all of you to look at the screen and practice with me. Yeah, I believe all of you are done, and now we can proceed ahead. Okay. So what are we going to do here, friends, is we are now going to go ahead and merge all the data from these files. Okay. Now there are some limitations that you will have to remember. So I double click on this file and let me show you what that file contains. Now, wherever you said no, I didn't understand. Now here, this file that you see here has got headers. Now these headers are exactly same in each file. Okay, these headers are exactly same in each file. Remember that first. Second thing, the position are also same. But here you need not worry about the position. Position can be anything. The name of the file must be same. Sorry, name of the columns must be same. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, let me show you this England file. So if you take a look at this column, the column names are exactly same in each file. See, runs, runs, ONP, ONP, minutes, minutes, ball phase, force, force, 6, 6, SR, SR. Even they are same as per case sensitivity. Okay. Okay, Bhairavi, as I said, it is not possible to work on Power BI on iPad. You will have to use either Mac laptop or Windows laptop. Okay, it's not possible to work on Power BI on iPad. Now, I go ahead and I selected this column headers are exactly same. Now, when I talk about these column headers, they should be case sensitive. I mean, the syntax is case sensitive in Excel. Okay, the syntax is case sensitive, so you need to be very careful whether you're writing in capital letters or small letters. All right. So we have not written any query, so it's okay, but we can proceed with this now. Now what do we do here is I close this, and what I want to do is I would like to merge all the data from all the Excel files and get it in Power BI. Okay. So at the moment you see Australia to Netherlands, I have all the data, but there are some duplicate data also available. Okay. Here we are going to do some basic practice exercise on Power Query. And this is our last exercise. Now what I'm going to do, let's go to Home tab and click on Get Data. Do not click on Excel. Here, the challenge is I don't want to get the data from single file but bunch of files. So how do I get the data from bunch of files? I click on Get Data and click on More. And when I click on More, here I go to File, and here I have the option that says Folder. So what I want to do now is I'd like to get the data from a particular folder. I click on Folder and I click on Connect. Okay. So I clicked on Get Data, Folder, click on Connect. It is asking me for the path. So I copy the path of this file, Control C. I go to Power BI and press Control V. Okay. I click OK and I'll stay right here. This is an important exercise, so I'm going to wait for 5 minutes. Sorry, a few seconds, and I'm going to continue after that. Okay, here it says folder path must have valid absolute path. Okay, what's the problem with this? Yeah, it took it. Yeah, so I'm on the screen. I'm going to wait for a few seconds so that all of us can come on the screen. Okay, so what do you want me to explain, Rohan? So path, see, I gave you the data yesterday, so you just have to open this folder, search in data, copy the path, and paste it here in this window. Get data, more. After you click on Get Data More, then click on File, and then you have Folder. Click on Folder, click on Connect, and then paste the path of the file and click OK. you get the screen. Now this screen is extremely important. Yeah, here I have a new button which says combine. This was not there. I have transform data and load data. If I click on load data, only this data will get loaded. But if I talk about all the files, what I need to do is I'll go ahead and grab all the files. So I click on combine, and here I have the option combine and transform data. Okay, I click on combine and transform data. When I click on combine and transform, sorry, I should have clicked on combine and load, but it's okay. Combine and edit. If you're using older version of Excel, of Power BI, you will see combine and edit. So either click on combine or combine and edit, or combine and transform data. Any one of these two. Wherever this feature is not available on phone or iPad, you cannot use it. I'm sorry. Even if you ask me multiple times, my response would be the same. So in order to continue these sessions, you have to use laptop. Yeah, so laptop is must for these sessions. Okay, Abhay, not sure why you're getting the error. Okay, Abhay, as I said, you need to choose folder. Abhay, as I said, you need to choose a folder. Then only this works. If you're using a file path, that will not work. Uh, Not sure, Abhay, what exactly is the problem. But remember, I gave you this folder. Just copy the path and paste it there. Yeah, please give it a try with the folder, and it should work. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, combine and load or transform. So Subhash, you can go ahead and click on transform. Yeah, you can browse path also. That's fine. Now what you need to do is now see friends. Now here, what I'm going to talk about is when you talk about combined files, when you see the combined files, there are some limitations that you need to understand. All the files are going to be combined and created one simple table. That's possible using Power Query, but it has limitations. Now, what are the limitations in Power Query? The first limitation here is that your Power Query, uh, every file that you have must have at least one sheet with the same name. So here we have sheet 1. Okay, since here we have sheet 1, that sheet 1 must be there in each file. So let's take an example. If you have in one file sheet 1 and another file where you want to get the data from, it is sheet 2 and the other file is sheet 3, those data cannot be combined. Okay, Abhay, if you're getting that error, combine and edit will not work. If you're using the older version, it will not work. Yeah. So I think you're using a pretty old version, and that's the reason it is not working, because in older version, combine folder cannot be used. Okay. Even if you use load, it is going to give you the error. So I'm sorry to say you cannot continue this exercise. Okay. You cannot continue. Just take a pause, perform other exercises that I'm going to do. Okay. Now, so when you talk about this Excel sheet, it has got some limitations. The first limitation is every file must have the same sheet name. So if one file does not have the same sheet name, you cannot get the data from that file. It will give you the error. The second criteria to merge all the files is every column must have the same name in the same case. So here ONP is written in capital. In another file, if ONP is written in the small letter, it is not going to import the data. These are some limitations that you need to keep in mind to consider before you start importing the data from multiple files. Now, something that is possible, something that it considers, if the column positions are not same, it's okay, right? If column position are not same, it's okay. It can still fetch the data and merge the data properly. All right. So make sure that you do consider these limitations. Now, when I highlight these constraints, that doesn't mean that Power BI does not have the solution. It does have the solution, but solution is little tricky, little difficult. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a video link where you can learn this from. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue with these limitations and I'm going to click on OK. When I click OK, now see here, these are various files or various columns that we have, and you can see I have the column source name. It gives me which file has it picked up the data from. So it is Australia, then England copy, then England, then we have Kenya, Namibia, Netherlands. All those data are here. Okay, so merge has been successfully done. Now uh, here there is a question from Saurabh. I have one question, sir. Please cover how can we use Power BI feature in GSTR2A sheet? What this apply, change, discard, change message refers. Okay, apply change. Okay, Saurabh, honestly speaking, yesterday I was introduced by mistake as a CA. I'm not a CA, so I'm not sure what is GSTR2A sheet. If you have question, I will give you my email address later. You can just mail that file to me and I can explain. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, what this apply change and discard change means, see, apply change means what happens is when you import the data in Power Query, those changes needs to be applied to the data source. Okay, those changes needs to be applied to the data source, and once you apply, that means data is imported from the source and fed into the table. Okay, so since it is fed into the table, that means, do you want to feed the data into the table or you want to discard it? It will remember the steps, but it will not store the data. So unless and until the data is stored in Power BI, you cannot work upon it. So applying changes is important. But why do we have the option to discard? If you have a very huge data and you don't have the time, you want to do it later, you can click on discard changes for now and apply those changes later on. Okay, so that's the advantage. I hope that answers your question, Ashish. Now what I'm going to do is, now let's learn about some Power BI features. Now here what we're going to do, let's remove the source name. So I do right click on source name and I click on remove. So after I remove the source name, all the sources have been removed. Now here, when you take a look at this entire data, okay, when you take a look at this entire data, here what I want to do, let's learn and do some basic changes that you may want to do in your Excel. Okay, so what are we going to do now is, let us learn about some Power BI tips and tricks. Power Query. First thing, as you can see, the start date, right? I would like to split this into multiple columns, right? I like to find out whether Sachin, this 15th December 1991, whether was it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or what day is it? I want to do all those things. So I click on start date. Now I want to add another column with year. I would like to split, I would like to extract years from this data. Then I would like to transform it to weekdays, then month, then date, month, and year, and all those transformation. I would like to do it in Power Query. In Excel, if you do it, you will have to write the formula. But in Power Query, see how simple is it? I click on start date, I go to home, and there is an option that says add column. When I click on add column, Here I have date. I click on date and see here I have the option age, date only, year. When I click on year, here I have year, start of year, end of year. So I click on year. See what happens. When I click on year, what happens? Automatically this year got extracted. See how simple is it? Again, I click on start year and I would like to extract month. So I go to month and see month, name of the month. So see, here it is December, January, December, and all those stuff. Again, I click on start date. I click on date, and now I click on quarter, and here I click on quarter of the year. See, quarter 4, quarter 1, quarter 4. All these things are coming automatically. Now I click on start date, and I click on this date, and then I click on week. Say week of the year. So 1991 is 50th week. 15 December 1991 is 50th week. This is 4th week. This is 13th, 43rd week. See how simple is it to get all these things in Power BI. So now I have start date. I click here and I click on day and I click on name of the day. See how simple is it? I got the day and the name of the day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and stuff like that. Okay. So I think all of you have done it till here. Okay, can we separate quarters as per financial year? Answer is no with this method, but you have a very valid question, and two things that I'm going to tell you. So here is my YouTube, and let me do some advertisement of myself. If you type Pradip, Pardesi in Google, this is the YouTube channel that you get. Click on that YouTube channel, and there you have all my videos. And in videos, I'll give you two links. Remember, I told you there is a limitation that you cannot add multiple files if the sheet name is not common or file names are not equal as case sensitive. So with these two challenges, if you want to see those challenges, you have the session here, Power Query. Learn this Power Query, best practices in Power Query. There is a video on my YouTube. Do watch it. I give you the link here. And there is another video. Now, your question was about the financial year calendar. So how do we work with financial year? Let me share. See, this is how to create fiscal year report in Power BI. So fiscal year, you can get it using fiscal year report. Here is another video. I am going to share this link also on the chat so that you get it on the chat itself. Okay. So how do you do fiscal year report? All those links I have sent to you on the chat. You can watch these videos. I'm not going to be explaining these things into this session. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So now there are multiple videos that you would like to watch in Power BI in on my YouTube channel. This gives you a lot of insights. Yeah. Thanks, Bhairavi, for subscribing. All right. Now, next thing is okay. So I think Sudesh, I have answered your question. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for 10 minutes and then we'll start the session again. Now, after the break, I'm going to start with a power tip. Now, what is the power tip for today? Now, today, what I'm going to show you is, has it ever happened that you want to search for a file, you created a file, but you don't remember where have you saved it and what was the name of that file, but you need the file right now. Has it ever happened? Just type yes or no. You created a file long back. Now you need that file. You forgot the location. You forgot the name of the file, but still you need the file quickly. Okay. So many people said yes, they need it. So this is a power tip. After 10 minutes, I'm going to start with this topic. And I'm sorry, I do not repeat power tips. This is only for those people who come back in time. So it's a 10-minute session. I'm going to take a break, and then we'll get started with the session. Thank you. So friends, are we all back? Thanks, Abhay. So we shall get started now. I heard of only 4 responses. Sorry, I received only 4 responses about others. We'll get started. Bhairavi, if you're there, I have sent you a message. You can respond to my message, and we shall connect over there. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming back on time. It was pleasure having you all. Let me now share the power tip. Okay. So the tip is like this, and I'm going to go a little fast here because this is not a power tip session, but the Power BI. This is just for your information. So let's take an example. I am looking for a file with some name, let's say Excel. Okay. So let me do it this way. I type Excel. Now, when I type Excel, see what happens. I received 12,000 files. Okay. I received 12,000 files here, which is nothing but Excel. The problem is, how can I go ahead and search the file that I need amongst these 12,000 files? So for that, let's see the problem here. Why am I getting 12,000 results? I am getting 12,000 results. That's because actually there are certain files where Excel is written probably inside the file, or maybe on the properties, or in Excel. Somewhere Excel must be written within the file, and that's the reason these files are featuring here. What I can do here is I would like to have the file which has the name Excel. See here, there is no Excel written, but that file is also featuring. So I want to force that only those files should be available which has the name Excel. So what I can do here is I can type name colon Excel, and when I press enter, see the same 12,000 result got reduced to 900 result. Okay. So what did I do? I want to force Windows to locate the file which has the word Excel in it, and that's how you've got this. Now, next thing, I am not now. I still have 900 files to look in, right? So what I can do is let me reduce the result further. So now here I am going to type kind. What kind of results do I want? Let's say I want only folders, but not the file, because if I get the folder, I can find the file. So I only look for the folder with the name Excel in the name. This Excel word should feature in the name of that folder. So I type kind and I type folder and I type enter. So here I have name Excel kind folder. So when I say kind folder, here I have the folder with the name Excel. Here you can see there are no files but only folders. See how simple is it to look for only folders. But let's say I am not looking for folders, but I'm looking for some video. So I'll just type kind colon video, and see when I press enter, these are only videos. So understand, friends, the name meaning of this kind is a category. So are you looking for a video? Are you looking for a picture? Are you looking for an audio file or sound file? Or you're looking for any document, or maybe the folder? These are various categories that you can search in, right? Now let's assume that I'm not looking for video either, but I'm looking for document. So I type document, and this document means all Word, XML, PowerPoint, PDF, Notepad. All those files are available here. Now, when I talk about these document, what exactly happens here? I have all the documents, right? Now, those documents are nothing but the file, and this has reduced to 606. Now, further to that, let's say I know the extension of the file and I'm looking for a PowerPoint file. So here the keyword that I need to use is type colon pptx. Now, when I type pptx, what happens is now you will see only the PowerPoint files available. Okay. Now, uh, within this PowerPoint file, I am looking for a file with the size more than 10 MB. Okay. So I am looking for a size greater than 10 MB. When I type 10 MB, see, I receive all the files I have got which are more than 10 MB. Do you see these files are more than 10 MB? All right. Now, see the result has gone down to 24, but still it is not decisive. Which file am I looking for? So let's say the file that I'm looking for, I must have opened this file in the last 5 years, at least once in 5 years. So I write now date modified colon, and now here I can type. Now see, the for some reason my Windows is not supporting, but in another Windows you will see a calendar that is coming down at the moment you type date modified. But doesn't matter. Here I have date modified. I type date modified, and here I type let's say uh, 01 hyphen 01 hyphen 2015 dot 31 12 dash 2020. Let's say I look for this and I press enter. See, I receive one file. The size of this file is 95 MB, which is more than 10 MB, which was last used in 14th December 2017, last modified, and the name Excel is written in it, and it's a PowerPoint file, which is a document. See, now you will understand how did I search for a file in 12 amongst 12,000 file I could find one single file. So here are the list of criterias. Now if you don't remember the name of the file, you can just try the permutation and combinations of these files and you can see it. So I have pasted these criterias or these keywords in the chat. You can keep a note of that. Now let me give you one more clue here, and thanks Bhairavi. Let me give you one more clue here. Over here, if you see, the moment I type any search command and I press enter, it was giving me the result immediately within a fraction of second. In your case, what would be happening? A green bar must be flowing from left to right, and that takes ages to reach to the end. Yeah, in my system, it doesn't happen. Now, since this is not the Windows training program, otherwise I would be happy to give you the answer. But those who are interested in learning more, for them, I have another video, which is effective Windows search. I am copying and pasting the link. You can find more details on this chat. Yeah, watch this video. This video actually gives you the complete detail of how to do search. So just in case if you have missed something, watch this video. Okay. Now, let's come back to Power BI. That's our core to be learned. Okay. Now here, thank you very much, Seshu Kumar. We'll proceed now. What we are going to do now is we come back to Power BI, and here I have what have we done? We have split the date into multiple segments. Now let's see some more tips. And this is the last exercise in Power Query, and then we'll move on to Power BI. Okay. So I'm switching over to conditional formatting sheet. Okay. Conditional formatting table that we have imported in the morning, and we are going to do some sessions over there. Okay. Now, what are we going to do? By the way, one more, I think, Bhairavi, you were not there. I have sent you a message. Please respond to me on that message so that I can send you all the practice files. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Sunil Kumar will discuss that separately. I am now getting into this weekly, how to get weekly shipment trends. Okay, I need to have the data so that I can tell you, I can give you the answer to that question. Okay, now here, what are we going to do is, let's say here I have first name and last name. I don't want to separate column for first name and last name, but I would like to merge these two columns and create one column name. So what would you do in Excel? You will go ahead and do concatenate. You will merge two columns by using concatenate, either function concatenate or the app operator, which is ampersand or and, right? So I'll either do concatenate operator or I'll do and to merge these two columns. Now see how easy is it in Power BI or in Power Query. So what are the two columns I'm looking at? First name and last name. So I click on first name and hold control button and click on last name. Now after I click on first and last name, here I have two tabs. Now see, if I want to retain first name and last name and create a third column name, then I'll go to add column. Now add column will always help me add a column. Okay, but let's say if I would like to replace first name and last name with the name column, so there won't be any third column, but these two columns will get reduced to one single column, which will be a merge column. So choice is yours here. Either if you want to create a third column, you can go to add column, and there is an option merge column. This will create a third column. But just in case if I want to reduce these two columns to one column, I go to transform, and here we have another option which is merge column. What is the difference between transform merge column in transform tab and merge column in add column? Merge command in transform tab does not create a the third column. So I select these two and see, I click on merge. Now when I do merge, it will ask me what should be the separator in between. Do I want a separator in between? Yes, I do want a separator, and that should be a space, right? What should be the name of the column? I say name. Okay, now remember, this merge column will not be highlighted unless and until you select multiple column. If you select only one column, this won't be highlighted. So you got to select two columns which needs to be merged, and then click on it. Then you have space as a separator and name, and I select chosen the one which is in the transform tab. When I do OK, it created the third column which is name, and see the first name and last name column is gone. Simple, isn't it? Simple column, such a simple technique. Now, second thing here, what I want to do is now here this exercise, we are not doing this exercise, but this is just an information for you. What we need to do now here is, let's take an example. I would like to go ahead and split this column into two columns. Like I want to create first name and last name column again. So I'll click here. I have the option split by delimiter, and you can go ahead by space and all those stuff. You can, I'm sure you would know how to do this, because this is something that is available in Excel also, which is called as text to column in Excel. So you know how to do it. So here I just quickly did merge column, and it could this way give me the answer. All right, now here I can even extract the first character or last character, text before delimiter, text after delimiter, text between delimiters. So you can try all these options. So this is in Excel, what do we use? We use len function. Here we use left function. This for we use right. This is for mid function. Text before delimiter, we use search, and we use combination of multiple functions. But this is something which is ready made available. I'm not getting into the details. You guys are smart enough to explore. So I'm not explaining these things. I'm just highlighting that these features are there. Then we have format. So if you want to convert this into uppercase, see how simple is it? I click here, I go to format, and I click on uppercase. Automatically, all the column has got transformed into uppercase. So we have lowercase. So I can trim, clean, and all those options are there. We can learn from these. Yeah. Now, I believe all of you have understood how to do this, and it's good for me to proceed ahead. Now, let me give you another example, and then we'll proceed to another exercise. Now, the another example here is when we talk about salary. Let's say now, if you think that these salaries are too low, consider them to be in pound or dollars. It's okay. You can consider, and this, if you still feel it's low, consider them as weekly or daily salary. But let's continue with our exercise. When you talk about these salaries, let's say the person who's earning more than 15,000 is senior, but the person who is earning less than 15,000 is junior. Okay, so any idea how would you do this exercise in Excel? That means this guy is earning 5,000, he should be labeled as junior, and as it reaches above 50,000, all these salaries should be considered as senior. How do we do it? Okay, so everyone says if function. Okay, so fantastic, you know if function. Now in Excel you don't need to use if function, because now again this feature will not be available in older versions of Power BI, this feature that I'm going to talk about. So if it is not available on your screen, it means your Power BI is the older version and you need to upgrade it. And also along with that, if you want to try it right now, you have no choice but to use if function. but I'm not using a function for now. What I'm going to do, you take a look at it. So here I would like to create a new column which will label it as senior or junior. So I go to add column, and here there is an option which says conditional column. Very simple. Conditional column. So when I click on conditional column, now see how simple is it. I want to create SR/JR, senior or junior. Now what do I want? I want salary. What is the operator? Should be greater than or equal to. What should it be? 15,000. If the salary is greater than or equal to 15,000, then what? Senior. Otherwise what? Junior. See how simple is it? Even a kid can solve these fill in the blanks. Yeah. Where do we find that option? In add column, conditional column. Okay. Add column, conditional column that we can do. And over here, you can fill up all these information like senior, junior is the column name. Then I've selected if salary is greater than 15,000, it should be senior or it should be junior. Okay. Limitations here, you cannot do any calculations in these boxes. Remember, you cannot do any calculations here. If you want to do calculation, you have to write the function. Okay. Where do we write the function? I'm going to tell you that as well. Just hold on. Yeah. So here I have written if salary greater than or equal to 15,000, it's senior, otherwise junior. I click OK and see how simple is it. Senior and junior, I've got it on my sheet. Okay. Okay. Now, so Sagar, there's a question. Do we have switch function in Excel? And this is a question to everyone out here. Sagar has written, when I asked a question, which formula will you use? Most of the people have responded yes, with if formula, but Sagar has responded with switch. Do we have switch in Excel? Others? Sagar says yes. Okay, Bhairavi says no. Okay, let me answer that question. Switch function is not available in all other versions of Excel except Office 365. That too, you got to have the latest version. Okay, switch function is only available in Microsoft 365 latest version. But switch function is available in macro or VBA. It's there since ages. Okay, but if you do not have Microsoft 365 application, you will not be able to use the latest switch function. But that's a very good function, and there are a lot of new additional functions are there available in Excel that you can use. Perfect. Yeah. All right. So those who have Office 365, I would recommend them to watch the series of Microsoft 365 on my YouTube channel. I've conducted 15 days training program. Yeah. So plenty of learnings are there on how to use Office 365 effectively. Coming back to my, coming back to our exercise. Now let's say I would like to give 10% increment to, okay, sorry, I got disconnected. I got diverted to the question. Switch function is available just like any other function, like if function. Yes, it is in Office 365 only. Professional Plus 2019, I'm not sure. Sunil Kumar Jain, if you have that, I doubt that you will have switch function in Professional Plus, no matter whatever it is. Can you paste the link of Windows 365 usage? Sorry, what is that question? I did not understand, Rohan. How to increase 24 hours in a day? Madam, I think you need to go to Sadhguru to answer that question. How to increase 24 hours in a day? I'm not a Sadhguru. Okay, Rohan, I'll paste that link later. I'll come back to that part. Okay. Okay. Now, what we'll do here. So if I want to choose from branch column Patna and place the same as new column, yes, it is possible. You can use okay. So Philip, I'm answering that question quickly, but I'm not doing that, taking that as an exercise for this session. But for answering your question, it's conditional formatting. So I click on conditional formatting. Here, let's say instead of Patna, I'm using department. If column name equals to now here Power Query is case sensitive, so you got to be a little careful. Here, when I'm using department, you need to see how is it case sensitive. So I go to conditional column, and here what Philip is asking. Correct me, Philip, if I'm wrong. Philip is asking that he wants to pick up only marketing and create a new column, and in that column, all the people who are in marketing should be available, and those who are not in marketing should not be available. Am I correct, Philip? I'm proceeding considering, yeah. So that's his question. So what we are going to do here, if column name, so here I select department. Here it is equals. I'm writing mktg. Now here, remember, it is case sensitive. Power Query is case sensitive. So mktg is written this way. So I have written it exactly that way. So if department is mktg, then it should select a column. So it should select a column value. Whatever column value is there in mark department, I want to select that. If it is department, I would like to have the same department. If it is department equal to marketing, then whatever is in the department column, paste that. Otherwise, paste null. Null, that means if you want to leave any cell blank, you cannot write blank. You cannot just leave blank. You have to write null, and that too in small case, right? Null means blank cell in Power BI. Okay. I think here also we learned couple of things. You can try this exercise also. All right. So here, what did I do? I created a new column and I name it as a marketing department column. Okay. So if department equals marketing, then get the value from the department column. So here you can select a column and then click on department. Then if it is not marketing, then select null. Null means blank, and I click OK. So when I do that, see, null means blank, and marketing, see, null comes on the left and right hand side. That means it's not a text, right? Whatever comes on the right hand side by default, it's not a text. Whatever comes on the left hand side, it's definitely a text. Okay, remember that. So here, I think that answers your question, Philip. Yeah, so we'll go ahead. So you guys can also try it out. Now, I'll take one more example of how do we write our own formula. Right. So friends, what I want to do here, let us take an example. If the person, let's continue this exercise. So here I've written null. What if I want to do, if the person is in marketing, I would like to give him 10% increment to the salary. Okay. Right. So if I want to give 10% increment to the salary of only marketing people, what do we do? Again, we'll do if function in Excel, and something similar we will do. Now, why am I taking up these exercises? Because these are the basic exercises that you would ever do in Excel, and you would definitely be interested how to do this in Power Query or Power BI. So I'm explaining the same thing. All right. So what we need to do here is I come to this custom. I go to add column and I click on custom column, and in custom column, I'll write the formula. What is the formula? So here I'm going to write marketing incentive, or just like I'll write incentive. Okay. Now here, what will be the function if, right? Now I'm writing if. Now, how do I write department? Now, by the way, how did I come to the screen? I'm in add column and I clicked on custom column. Remember that part. So I write if this is the department. So I select, double click on department, equals to double quote MKTG. Make sure that you write in proper case. Now, Bhairavi is asking how to find out marketing written as MKTG or MKETG. You got to refer to this table. Yeah, I found it out from this table. So now I cannot scroll it on the left hand side, but if I close this window, I'll be able to scroll it left hand side, and there I found marketing is written as MKTG, that too with capital letter. Okay. If department is equal to marketing, then is a keyword. I'll write then salary multiplied by 1.1. Okay, why 1.1? Because I want to add 10% to the existing salary. I want to add 10% to the existing salary. So let's say if 10,000 is the salary, then 10% is 1,000. Okay, so 10% salary, if it gets added, that 10,000 becomes 11,000. So actually the multiplier is 1.1. Okay, so what have I done? If department equal to marketing, then salary should be multiplied by 1.1. Else, what if the person is not from the marketing department? Else, what was the question? Okay, so it's the same question. Otherwise, I would like to reduce the salary of the person 10%. Okay, then salary multiplied by 0.9. Okay, so I've reduced the salary to 90% from 100%. Okay, now after I have done this, here I have no syntax errors have been detected. So since no syntax errors have been detected, I am happy to close this function. And when I close this function, see here, the salary has been incremented with 10%. But if the person is not in marketing department, so here the salary was 7,000, it was reduced, it has been reduced to 6,300. Here the salary was 5,950, it has been increased to 6,545. Okay, so this is the function. So those who are lagging behind, I'll just copy and paste this formula on the chat window so that you can copy it and complete the exercise. Right, so this is the formula. Right, so this is how. So remember friends, in Power BI, you want to write any custom function, you want to do any particular calculation, the custom column is the key. You want to add two columns here. Let's say I want to add a salary and this incentive column. I want to add salary and incentive column, I'll use custom column. I want to divide two things, I will use custom column. I want to write some custom formula, I'll use custom column. Okay, and one more thing, and then we are good to go. I have been saying one more thing, one more thing. Actually, Power Query is such an interesting topic. I like it that I often exceed my time, but now it's time to quit Power Query. But one last exercise. See, like I have given you if function, there are multiple functions, right? Um, uh, there are multiple functions in Power Query. How can you go ahead and okay, Deepak Chopra, if you have not if you're not able to click OK, that means some errors are getting detected. Make sure that you copy and paste what I've written, and do not copy the time where when you copy my message. Okay, just copy it properly, you should be able to click OK. Now what I was talking about is, how do you find out whether a particular function uh, mm, exists or not? Okay, so what do you do here? I click OK, and here we have got this. Okay, so please complete this. Okay, so there's a question from Pratik, what is invoke custom function? So Pratik, invoke custom function is what do we need to do is, see here, when you have a function, see here you can create your own functions, and invoke custom function actually helps you to use those functions on any other query. Okay, you may not understand what I am talking about right now, but the thing is, invoke custom function is like, if you know the programming terminology, user defined function and custom functions, right? Sorry, predefined functions and user defined functions. So user defined function means you have created a function, right? A function that can be used. If I give you an example in terms of macro, let's say there are two functions. There is a function to add two numbers. What is that function? Equal to sum in Excel. But there is no function to subtract. Okay, but you write a code which will help you to subtract one number from another, and that is called as the equal to subtract number function. You've written it, right? So that subtract number function is a user defined function. You have defined it. Now how will you use it in Power Query? That can be used using invoke custom function. Okay, I'm sorry, I do not want to get into that depth, so I'm not covering that part as of now. Okay, so Deepak, I'm not sure. And can you copy and paste your formula in the chat? Let me take a look at that. By the way, I'm proceeding ahead. So this is how we go ahead. So I click OK, and this is how the function is. Now, if I want to reveal all the functions, okay, I want to see all the functions which are available in Power Query. Yeah, how will I do it? Now, see, this is an interesting part. Here, when you talk about the revealing all the functions, what do I need to do is, am I audible? Subhash is saying no audio. Uh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Sunil, screen pause because I'm not doing anything on the screen. Don't worry. Screen is not paused. Okay, so I'm going ahead now. What I need to do here is how do we reveal all the functions that exist in Power Query that can help you? So see here, what we need to do, I go to Home tab, and here I'll go to New Source. Okay, I go to New Source, and now here I go to this option that says Blank Query. I click on Blank Query. I repeat once again, I go to New Source and click on Blank Query, and that opens this query window. Okay, what do we do now? Here I'll just type equal to hash shared. Remember this part, I'm copying this and pasting in the chat window so all of you can copy it and paste this as it is. Okay, what we need to do here is go to this new query and blank query, and then type equal to hash shared. The moment you do that, you get this screen. Okay, there are plenty of options available, but now here it automatically opens this convert tab. Just click on into table. That's it. Right now, let's say I would like to remember, someone asked me a question at the top, how to find out the records between how to do the date function or date calculation. Someone has asked that question, and I forgot what was that question, and there are plenty of questions. I don't want to go back to that. So here what we need to do is, here I have all the functions. Now which function do I need? I want, let's say I want to create a between date between two dates. So is there a function in between dates? Let me try. Between the text between number random between, right? Dates. Now when I write dates, these are list dates function. Okay, so one second, there should be a function with the name dates date. So see, all the function that starts with date or which has date in between, here is the function list. You see, dates in next quarter, dates in previous quarter, dates in between. Also there must be something in between or something within dates. So all the function related to dates are available here. All you have to do is go to new query, blank query, type equal to hash shared, press enter. It will give you the convert option. Click on convert to table, and after you click on convert to table, here you will get this particular table. Go to this option, filter whatever you want to do. Let's say date. I want to select any text function. So see, text related, all the functions are available here. Number to text, number to text, anything that has text in it will be visible. Do you see all these functions? Yeah. So it's a very useful feature that I'm showing you. So these are various functions that you can use in either, you can use it in either custom function, or you can use it in either the new query. So I name it as list of functions. Okay. So when I do list of functions, I have all the list of functions here, and now I go to home tab and I click on close and apply, and I am now done. Okay, and that was the Power Query. Now we'll go to Power BI. Madhu, you will get that when you click on equal to hash shared. There is a tab that says convert. Okay, so you can use that now. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to learn about importing tables. So those who have not understood, or for whom it was a little difficult, they can start once again. We are going to start with a new data. So I'm going to save this file as day2. I'm going to close it now, change it to open a new Power BI. All right, so now what we are going to do, we are actually going to work with data model in Power BI. Okay, so let us talk about data model. Okay, now here I would like to extract the date from an Excel file. So I click on Excel and I go to Power BI. Now here I see a Power BI. I'll go to this folder. Now I'm not going to be working with Power Query anymore. So I go to Power BI and there is a folder with the name, file with the name Power BI practice files. I double click on it. Okay. I double click on that file. Now I'll select these three tabs: customers, orders, and products. Although I do have two tables. Okay, let me use these two tables only. Customers and orders, I'll use these two tables. Let's check customers and orders and we'll work with products. Okay, so I have checked customers, I've selected orders, and here I have products. Okay, I have customers and orders, two separate tab. Now what I'm going to do is I'll click on transform data. Okay, so remember, where am I getting this file from? I'm getting this from this file, which I've given it to you on day one, yesterday. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is coming back to one second. Yeah. So this is the file that we have, which is, I am back in Power Query editor. Now here I will check each file properly. So this is products, product name, and product expiry. This is completely null column, so I'll remove this column. Okay. Now here I have customer. So it gives me perfect customer data. Then here I have order. Order is also perfect data. Okay. One second. I'm just checking something just in case if I've missed something. Okay. Now from the order table, this row ID is not important, so I remove the row ID column. So I've removed row ID, so I've got order ID, order date, ship date, and all those stuff. Where here we have customer, so all the customer related data, products related data. Perfect. Yeah. Now, so far, I have not done anything in this column. As you can see, I repeat once again, this is orders. In orders data table, I have removed the row ID column. That's it. Row ID and nothing else. Row ID. Then customer, I have not done anything. I just checked if everything is fine. Products, I've just checked if everything is fine. And here there was product expiry. That column was null, completely blank. So I removed that column. That's it. Nothing else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on close and apply. Okay, so we have this table, we have this data, everyone should be on this table. Okay, I'm going to wait for 5 more seconds, 5 to 10 more seconds, and then we'll proceed. Okay, file and folder. Okay, Kapil, where is the last 2 3 steps did you perform post you imported the data? I did not. Okay, okay, I'll show you. Generally, I did not perform any step. You can import it as it is also. So I'll quickly take you through. See, Sunil Kumar, yesterday I sent the files and folders. So the file is the same thing, which is Power BI practice files. Okay. So this is the Power BI practice files, and you got to work on this. Okay. So import this data. So the 2 to 3 steps that I did, there's nothing much I did. I'll show it to you. In products table, there was a product expiry date. I removed that column. That was one step. Customers table, no step performed. Orders table, there was a row ID column. Remove that column. Okay. Now, so I have removed all those things, and now I click on close and apply, and now I have all these 3 tables. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to work with relationship. Let's see what are relationship and how do we work with that. Okay. So this is going to be relationship thing. See, even it shows even my Power BI is not updated. Okay, okay. So that was updated, and this is a new view. Okay, it's okay, fine, no problem. Now, so here Ashish Desai has asked a fantastic question. I have months as text in table along with financial data against it. Please let me know how can I go to MOM, YOY, quarter on quarter comparison for vertical comparison. Please guide us on this on tomorrow's session. So Ashish, this is called as time intelligence calculation or time intelligence function. And this is very much there in tomorrow's session. Okay, please hold on. Okay, so here I have, if you see, here I have the customers data, orders table, and products table. All right. Now, what we need to do is here, do you see this one small link that I have? That link is called as relationship. Yeah. So that link is called as relationship. Now, as Power BI has automatically detected the relationship between the two values or two fields of two tables. Now let's take an example. Let me delete these relationship and start from the scratch. How do we create the relationship? So the first relationship that we are going to create between the two tables. So I know that customer is one table and here customer ID is unique. Here I have order ID is a table and I see order ID is unique in this table. Okay. But customer ID is available here and customer ID is available here also. And my understanding says that these two tables should be linked. Now, why am I saying my understanding says is because if you have worked with table relationships are extremely important and you need to find the data of this customer in order. As an example, customers table will have unique customer details. Let's say you are the customer of a company. Okay. So your details will be uniquely available with them. That means you will have one customer number and with that they will be able to pull up all the transactions you've made with them. You've made with them. Yeah. So that is nothing but a unique table, or this is generally called as this is in technical term it is called a star schema. And then we have fact table and uh, I forgot fact and this is called as dimension table. Yeah, fact and dimension table, sorry, it just went out of my mind. But anyways, this is called a dimension tables and this is a fact table. Fact table will have the unique ID from this table, unique ID from this table, and unique IDs from various tables, right? So see, my explanation is not perfect when I have explained what is fact table. For that I will need more time to discuss what are fact table, dimension table, what are the process of normalization, what are the process of splitting the table column and all those stuff. I'm not getting into all those stuff as of now. Power BI is very simple. Let's keep it simple. Although I'm not saying that that information is not relevant. That is very much relevant when we create Power BI. But even if you don't follow those rules, you are likely to get the right data in the right manner in Power BI because it's simple. Now, so this is the dimension table which has unique customer ID. Now, how many orders has this customer placed? I can take the customer ID over here and filter that customer ID in orders table, and I'll be able to find out how many orders has this customer placed with this company. Okay, just one second, friends. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is I'll simply drag customer ID here and place it over to another customer ID. See, if I do customer ID with product ID or profit, it is going to create a relationship. But now see which fields are participating in this relationship: customer ID and profit, which is wrong. So we need to be really careful when we create this relationship. So I delete that relationship and I create once again, but by mistake. Sorry, I should have explained it in a different way. See, by mistake I have again okay, I have created right relationship. Let me do one more thing. This is product ID and now I'll put it in product ID with order ID, let's say. Now this is a wrong relationship. Okay, this is a wrong relationship, so it automatically gives me the error. Now see, it says product ID has got null value and product name. So product table has got some blank fields. Okay, so product table has got some blank fields. How do we take care of that? Now see here, when we say product field has got some blank table, blank rows. Now, ideally, the tables that are participating, or the dimension table, or the table which is supposed to have unique value, should not have any blank rows. So how do we take care of that? Let's go to transform data. I'm in data model, transform data. Now this was products table, so I go ahead and click on product, and here I'll select remove rows, remove blank rows. I did that, and I click on close and apply. Right? So remove blank rows from the products table. Now what I'm going to do, let me do that mistake once again. I drag product ID and put it over order ID. Now see, it creates the relationship. Okay, but this relationship is an invalid relationship because product ID cannot be matched with order ID. So what I'm going to do, right click properties. I can go ahead and make the changes like this. So product ID and order ID, there is no match. So if this is product ID, I have to click on product ID only. So I select this product ID. So I changed the order ID to product ID and I clicked OK. So you have two steps. Just in case if you've got confused, let me explain it once again. You have two different methods. First method is delete this, recreate it. Okay, delete this, recreate it. Now, if you do not want to recreate it, what you need to do is do right click, go to properties, and when you go to properties, select the relevant columns. Okay, when you select the relevant columns, after you've selected them, just click OK and see your relationship is perfect. Now, why do we need these relationships? We need these relationships because I can drag the data from this, from this, from this. I need to be comfortable. Okay. Now, so now what are we going to do here is I have created these three tables. Now, after I have connected all of them together, now I am free to create some visualizations. Let's create some visualizations for our understanding. So what visualizations are we going to create here? Let's go to Power BI report view. And here, let's say I have region wise. So this is region or market wise. So I check market. Okay. I would like to get market wise. When I go to order, I would like to calculate total profit. So which particular market is giving me the highest profit? So how did I get it? Now see here, understand. I went to customer table and checked market, orders table and checked profit. That's it. After having done that, this is the table. What I'm going to do, I told you all yesterday, how do I increase the font? Can anyone answer that question? How do I increase the font? Anyone? Okay, view tab, format option. Okay, so I go to view tab and then most of the people have written format, but yes, format, but where do we find that? So view tab, we'll click on this drop down. Under theme, I have customize current theme. Okay, so this is to increase the font size of the entire Power BI report view. So I go to customize current view, and after that I go to text, and when I go to text here, I have 10 points. Let me make it 15, and I click OK. So this is pretty big. Okay. Someone said, I think it's Sanket who said, Sanket, he said visualization second icon. So this is visualizations. Here the first icon is field, the second icon is format. So you go to format, and here you can go to column headers, then values, then total. So you have to change the font in 3 sections. But this method helped me to change the font only once, and everything got increased. Okay. Now someone is asking me, how did you reach to this table? From this is the relationship. I can click on this table, which is report view. And in report view, I repeat once again, I went to customer, check market, and then went to profit, and I got this. So this is now I would like to sort the profit in descending order. So I click on profit. This is now in descending order. So highest profit is coming from Asia Pacific and lowest is coming from Canada. So now understand what I've done here is when you talk about profit and market profit, and here I see all the values. Now remember, this market is in which table? Market is in customer table. Order is in which, sorry, and then profit is in which table? Profit is in orders table. So what I'm doing is I'm fetching one column from market and fetching another column from order, and I'm doing this. Now, if it had it been Excel, what would have happened? You would have grabbed this profit and done the sum if function. Okay. Sorry, I should have asked that as a question, but no problem. I would take up all the market and then do sum if function, and sum if is little complicated for the beginners. But I would do sum if function to get the same report. But what did we do in Power BI? Just the relationship, just the relationship. Even in Excel pivot table, this would not have happened so easily, right? But now let me show you one problem. Okay, now see, let me tell you, there are two solutions to this problem. Unfortunately, because of time constraint, I won't be able to discuss the detailed solution for this. I'm going to give you a simple solution to this problem. So my problem solution to this problem is, what I'm going to do now, sorry, not here. So here, listen here. So I got this market, wise total profit, and I would also like to find out how many products have been sold for each market. Yeah, I would like to get the count of product. Now this is an interesting part. Let's see, how do I do? So I would like to get the count of products. So this is the customers table. I don't have product in customers table, orders table. I have to go to products table, and here I drag the product name here. When I drag the product name, I get the individual names. I don't want individual names, but the total. So remember, what am I doing? I have grabbed the product name and added it over here. Now it is giving me the complete name, but what I want here, I want the count. So I go to product name, I click on that section and I click on count. When I click on count, unfortunately, see what it does. It gives me 10,292. This is the error. This is the problem. Now we need to understand what is the problem and why is this problem. Yeah. So we need to understand what is the problem and why are we facing this problem. Understand. By the way, let me tell you one more challenge with Power Query. See, this 10,292 that comes completely, that is for the entire column. So the total should not have been 10,292, right? The total should not have been 10,292. That makes sense or not? In pivot table in Excel, that's how it works. The total of this column is shown at the bottom, but in Power BI, this total is not relevant to this total. This total is the total of overall figure. So if you have done average, it will automatically go to the database and it will calculate average and give it to you. If you go to sum, it will go to the table and give you the total. So total count of this product is 10,292. That's the maximum, right? So this total may not be equivalent to the total of individual rows. Remember that part. Now coming back to this particular 10,292, why is it coming like this? Let's understand the problem. What problem are we facing here? The problem is with the relationship. Now, what exactly is the relationship problem here? Do you see this direction of the relationship here? Now, this direction tells that the filter can flow from this table to this table. So now, if I go ahead and take one filter, so let's say market, I click on Asia Pacific. Now, Asia Pacific can be filtered into this table from this because this filter direction supports it. Okay, so you have taken the leftmost column as market, and then you want the market to be I mean, you want to calculate the total profit with respect to this market. So how will it work? You will take the Asia Pacific, come to this table, filter this table, Asia Pacific, all the details that you have, you will add the profit and put it over there. Then you talk about Europe, you will come to this table, filter this, and whatever profit that you have, total profit, you will put it there. That's how the profit gets calculated, and this direction supports the filter. Okay, that is how it works. Now, what is the next thing? The problem is, from this table to this table, the relationship supports, but this table to this table, the relationship is in the reverse direction. I repeat, the relationship is in the reverse direction. So you can start filtering based on product in orders table, but from orders table, you cannot filter the products table because here it is unique. Products table is unique here, and here these product tables are duplicate. So the relationship direction is not supported here. Okay, since this relationship is not supported, the problem comes here. Any question on this problem? To understand a solution, you need to understand the problem. Did you understand the problem? Okay. So if you all have understood the problem, okay, master data should be in which direction? Okay. All right. See, I have not explained the solution. I've just explained the problem, right? Bhairavi, for this, we don't need flowchart, but that's a good suggestion we can consider when your data is huge and there are multiple tables. But here the tables are not multiple; it's just 3 tables, so we don't need flowchart for this. Okay, but that's a good suggestion. Now, see, the problem here is, as I'm explaining it once again, few people want me to repeat it. I can start filter. Now, what is the report that I'm creating? This is market wise, profit wise, product name count. Okay, so when I talk about market Asia Pacific, so I get the Asia Pacific here. Yeah, now I would like to get the total profit in Asia Pacific from the orders table. Now relationship direction supports it from here to here, so I take the values from here and filter it here. Okay, so I filter in Asia Pacific and then come to this and give the total here, that is 4,67,682.84. Then for European Union also, I get the total here, which is 3,45,818.62. Yeah, so that's how we get the total. Now, what do we need to do here is, sorry, what is the next problem? So up till these two columns, everything is working perfectly fine. Problem comes when we go to product name column. Why product name column? Because here we have to do 3-level filter. First level filter is customer name, market. So market should come to this one. Now market filter cannot be transferred to this table as the relationship does not support. Why relationship does not support? Because here there is a unique field and here is the uh, uh, multiple field. So one product ID connects with multiple products IDs here. One customer table connects with multiple one customer ID connects with multiple customer IDs here. Okay. So one product ID connects with multiple product ID. One customer ID connects with multiple customer ID. Right. Now, that is the problem with this database. The problem is the relationship does not support it. Now, the simple solution, which is not the ideal solution, remember, what I'm discussing right now is the simple solution, and that is not the ideal solution, which couple of people have said. The simple solution is change the relationship. I do right click, I go to properties. When I go to properties here, it says cross filter direction, and here it says single. I'll change it to both. Okay. Now I click OK and see, now the filter direction is both. Okay, now the filter direction is both. Now what will happen here? I go to my table and see all the values are perfectly fine. Okay, so these are various values that I have which are the filter. Okay, so now when I did both, my problem is resolved. Now you would say, then why the hell do we have to create single? Can we not completely change all the relationships to double? Never do that. Yes, I mean it. Never do that. Yeah. This solution is to be used only and only on exceptional when where there is no way out. This is an exceptional situation where you will use this particular feature, right? Why? That is because what happens now, because this table, orders table, has got more than 50,000 rows and products table has got only less, let's say 10,000 rows. This has got 50,000 and this has got only 10,000 rows. What Power BI now does is this creates the duplicate of Power products table. That means for every record, it creates a virtual table in the background, which will be a complete table. So these two tables are going to be treated as one. So what will happen for customer ID one, sorry, for order ID one, whatever is the customer product ID, it will start duplicating that data. So when it duplicates that data, your performance of Power BI gets hampered. Remember, performance of Power BI gets hampered if you use two bidirectional. Okay, our data is very small. For this, there won't be any difficulty at all. You can certainly go ahead. If the database is huge or it is a circular relationship. Now, circular relationship, what happens? You must have seen, I'm just giving an example. This is not the actual example. Let's say I have this table and this table. Okay, this is the table that is bidirectional, and this is the table that is bidirectional. Now there is a fourth table and both the tables are connected to it. Now if I keep it bidirectional, then the relationship would flow from this table or this table. It will be really confusing, and this relationship is likely to give you the wrong result. So remember, I'm not getting into the details of this particular problem, but this is the main problem why most of the reports, people, when the beginners fall prey of this particular problem. Okay, so remember, blindly never convert the single relationship to double. Try as much as possible to use the single relationship only. Now, what is the solution? When I'm saying this is not a preferred method, although this does solve the problem, but may create another problem, other problems that you may not ever be able to notice. And you will go on in circle to go around the bush to identify the problem. You may never be able to find out the problem because of relationship, lot of formula goes and gives incorrect value. So make sure that this should be your last approach. What is the approach? This is a lengthy discussion. I won't be able to discuss the solution right now in this session, but tomorrow I'll certainly discuss this problem to the solution to this problem. I may not begin with the solution, but I would probably end with the solution. Okay. So tomorrow's session is going to be an interesting, where we are going to do a lot of time intelligence functions. Now, time intelligence means tomorrow we are going to incorporate the date with this. And if I want to see now tomorrow, what are we going to do? We are going to learn a very important function, which is calculate. We are going to see time intelligence function. So that means this week versus last week, this month versus last month, this year versus last year, month on month, MTD, month till date, year till date, all these kind of reports. Tomorrow we are going to see. And then we are going to have a very brief introduction to Power BI service as well as Power BI reports. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to talk about tomorrow. I hope all of you have got this, understood all the features. Now, let me answer the couple of questions. Bhairavi, you are asking real time. Power BI cannot be real time if your database supported. So, data stream is the feature that needs to be used to get the real time report. But yes, when you refresh it, real time, you can refresh the data from the databases and you can get the report. So that will discuss later on. I'm not discussing that right now. Okay, so this is the real-time reporting and Power BI. So any other questions that you guys have, or else should we call it up for the day? So thank you very much, friends. I think there are no questions for now. We did a lot of things, and that's it from my side. So we'll catch up tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last session, I believe. Yeah. Can you take for yourself
Yes.
for
Yes.
relationship? Okay. Rohan, it'll be difficult. Actually, Power BI is a lengthy session, so it'll be very difficult for me to take a few more exercises, as plenty of things are pending for day 3. Actually, I thought that it's a 4-day session, and I was communicated it that way, and that's the reason yesterday I spent too much time in doing something which could have saved some time. I planned it actually for 4 days, but it's a 3-day session. I'm sorry about that. No worries. We'll cover whatever we are supposed to, but multiple example would be difficult. I hope you understand that. So that's it from my side, friends. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.